Well, what can I say about the Steam Deck that already hasn't been said before? Honestly, I think it really defines the generation of the PlayStation Portable. You know, the people that own the PlayStation Portable, they're now adults, and they know their PC stuff, and now they want to emulate the big boy games instead of just N64. They're thinking to themselves, hey, maybe I get a little bit of GameCube in my pocket. Realistically, though, I think that Valve is positioning themselves to be one of the largest market leaders in the entire field in a way that they understand that they have an opening in between what Nintendo is going to be making and what Xbox and PlayStation kind of have to bring to the field. Realistically, when we're talking about what goes on with the Steam and everything involved in it, it is a large competing ecosystem with Epic Game Store, PlayStation Game Store, and Xbox Game Store. While Microsoft has a home field advantage on the PC market, with the Microsoft Store occupying pretty much every Windows 10 installation, meaning Game Pass can occupy everything, they have a disadvantage with their primary gaming market being in the Xbox ecosystem, meaning their physical consoles. Sony has a large disadvantage due to the fact that their physical consoles are tied to their ecosystem and market. They are also going through a price shift with all of their market partners, increasing their game prices from $60 to $70, becoming more unappealing to the consumer. Now, their strengths are that they have a media holdings division having to do with their movie market, sound market, music market, licensing, and various other technologies, meaning they can foot the bill of cutting costs and competing with Valve. Valve has a similar advantage. They have a large ecosystem with the Steam store, they sell games to you, and they do it at almost virtually no cost. The licensing agreements they do with people are pretty fair to the fact that almost any indie developer will release on the store, meaning they don't just make their lump sums from AAA releases or large complicated contracts. They actually go out of their way to engage the small-time consumer and small-time developer in a way that they probably compromise, I would estimate, 35 to 40% of their market. The reason being is that the indie developing market is something that can go on Kickstarter but then release on Steam, meaning it has a transient ecosystem platform. Steam is the middling place where you release your game before you can get it approved for the consoles, get it approved for the Switch, and you have a web front store where you can receive reviews and have a professional storefront. So I really do believe that Steam has a large competitive advantage that will overtake the market when compared to other gaming competitors. Nintendo is probably the only one poignantly poised in a marketing position to take on Valve in a serious manner and cause, well, a danger to the profit line of Valve. But they would have to really step up with the Switch Pro. The reason I say that is because the market focus wasn't really going towards handhelds. A lot of the developmental regions were going towards virtual reality and augmented reality. Sony specifically is focusing on glasses, having to do with Apple, also focusing on glasses, and having an interactive view on gaming mindsets where you can reach into the world that you're playing and move the characters with your hands, or various other interactive elements. Reason being, they're hoping you might consider wearing a second wearable outside and receiving advertisements for a compensation. Very realistic, and a very good way for them to generate passive income off of your location data, viewing data, point of reference data, tracking data, anything, really. So, Microsoft, I don't know. As a market conglomerate, Microsoft has more of a hold on the business industry side of things. So they can really compete in the gaming market as long as they want to. I would highly estimate that they will do the absorb or collaborate mentality with Valve and try to pretty much put every Microsoft game available on the Steam device and probably make an xCloud service that easily installs on SteamOS. I would assume that that's what their offerings will turn into, and they will try to absorb the entire Steam market and get as much of it as they can. Sony, they're going to be bullheaded. They're not really going to take any stab at it. They may release their own portable again to compete with it, but I doubt they're going to price cut at a painful point as much as Valve does. Valve doesn't bleed money like any of them, so it's pretty useful. Well, what hasn't been said? Really, the mobile market. If the mobile market can catch up, if you can snap your phone realistically and easily into something, and I think Apple has that potential. because they have form factors that are very uniform. If you could snap your phone into a tiered device, say the XS had a small size device and then the Max had a large size device, and those were focused into gaming platforms with Apple Arcade, I believe they could compete. But as of right now, there has been no market data, no investor data, no trend data, no leak data suggesting that they are focusing on capsule handheld devices. I don't believe any integrator wants to do that because they see that as the same mindset of the customer seeing it as a Bluetooth controller. So it's not really going to work. I do believe that Apple will focus into creating iPads that are larger with snap-on keyboards, shrinking down their desktop into desktop portables, and maybe in that regard they will introduce their Apple Arcade market, but they're focusing more on their ecosystem. So I don't see them as a threat to Steam. Well, that's my holistic point of view on the Steam Deck and everything that has to do with it, and I hope that you enjoyed that. Have a wonderful time. I'm ManGamer.